Hey folks, your OS reviews. You're watching our video first look and quick review of the TecBean mini LED projector. This one has a 120 lumen output, so it's not the brightest thing in the world, but again, it does have a very compact and portable form factor. It sells on Amazon for about 105 bucks, which is relatively affordable for a mini LED projector, and it has a native resolution of 800 by 480, which seems quite standard in these China and Shenzhen-based mini projectors. With that being said, it does upscale and support sources up to 1080p, so you can plug in any Blu-ray disc players or your phone and tablet, and it does seem to perform still quite well. We've seen quite a few mini LED projectors already. They don't seem to be quite as good in terms of image quality as Pico projectors, but they are relatively bright, and again, performance is pretty good for what you're getting for your money. Otherwise, it comes in multiple colors. This is the black version here, also comes in white, and there's a blue version as well. And TecBean is one of the companies that is producing more and more projector models, and we have already seen several of them on our website. Some of these have Wi-Fi, but this model in particular does not, so it's a standard one that uses an HDMI or VGA port on the back for you to plug in an video source. You can also optionally use an SD card if it's loaded with videos or images or music, and the projector will recognize it. It has a very simple operating system on board, and it can play it back directly through this directory and file management system built on in. Otherwise, there's also a TV antenna port, so you can plug it in and watch television, uses as a pseudo TV, and there's also an IR port on the back, which allows you to use the built-in bundled remote to control the unit. You can also use the controls on the very top, which are pretty tactile and responsive, and they correlate to the up-down navigation keys for the main menu. You can also select on the center there a power on-off switch, and there's an LED light which will turn on once power is flowing through, and there's another one that switches between the multiple sources and inputs from the HDMI to VGA to SD card, and so on and so forth. And there's also a main menu key that you can tap on down below. On the sides, there's access to also a USB socket, so if you have, again, content stored on a thumb drive, you can plug it in and use it that way. You can also use it for peripherals, so if you have a keyboard or a mouse, you can also use that to navigate the system, as opposed to the bundled remote, which doesn't have air remote functionality, so you can't use it as a mouse or a cursor on screen. There's also a headphone jack if you don't want to use the built-in speaker. The speaker here is a little bit small and tinny for our tastes, but you can of course plug in your own pair and that would sound a lot better. There's a standard AV jack as well, so you can use it to expand and connect to an RCA cable if you want to use composite cables as opposed to one of the other video sources. It comes with an adapter in the box. It also comes with a HDMI cable, which is pretty generous of the company, considering the price tag is already quite low. There's also a focus switch scroll key on the back, which allows you to tilt the image that you're projecting at multiple different angles. And for more manual focusing, you would use the top directly by scrolling this up and down, left and right, to get the picture in focus, depending on the screen size that you're projecting. And it goes up to a claimed 80 to 100 inches, so pretty good for a small micro projector. There are ventilation grills on the sides to prevent the unit from overheating, and there's a small fan that will kick in just to reduce the heat. It provides a little bit of extra background sound, so that's something to be aware of, but it's not too distracting or crippling overall. And there's also a proprietary charging port on the side for you to plug in the AC plug, which is required at all times to operate the unit. And on the back, there's also a kickstand that you can pop up for propping up the entire thing. Some basic info about the unit, including the actual model name, the GP95. It's using LED, which is already pretty energy efficient, and there's also rubber feet, which prevents the unit from sliding around when you place it onto a surface or a desk. Overall, from a design standpoint, we think this is one of the more attractive mini micro projectors we've seen. It has a matte surface, so it doesn't attract too many fingerprints. It's easy to tote around, and the plastic being used here is pretty good in terms of construction. It feels relatively durable, and it seems like it's going to last. Next, we're going to give you guys a quick look of the image quality when we plug it into the socket. We have the projector plugged in, and you can hear there is a slight fan in the background, which is going to be consistently on there just to prevent the unit from overheating. After using the projector for about 3 to 4 hours, we also recommend turning it off for a few minutes just to let it cool off, because it can get a little bit warm. But otherwise, it's not too crippling. As long as you're playing back some music, you won't really notice the fan at all if that's kicking in the background. It's not silent, again, like some Pico projectors, but not bad either. Right now we have a virtual screen size of about 50 to 60 inches projected onto just a traditional wall. If you have a presentation board or maybe some professional screens, that might improve the image quality even more. And this is an afternoon, so there's some slight light in the background. It's not completely dark. That's where the projector truly shines, but you can still see it's very legible. Text is readable. You can adjust the focus pretty easily. Let's try doing that actually now. You can see it gets a bit more focus, less in focus, and then you can save it at the point that you want. You can also adjust the tilt and the angle as we talked about. Overall, not bad for a mini projector. It seems to do a decent job, especially if you're watching video clips. It does have a slight amount of pixelation. If you zoom all the way in, you'll notice that, but I think that's a common theme for most low-end projectors that we've encountered. To have a truly HD projector, that would require, again, much more in terms of the cost to produce it, but all in all, not bad, especially if you zoom all the way out. You won't really notice it. If you are watching videos projected at, let's say, a 100-inch screen, of course, the image quality will continuously decrease in terms of the resolution, the pixelation, and also the brightness will decrease as well. But overall, not bad. Let's play back the video now. Let's skip ahead.
The front also features a 5-megapixel sensor for selfies, and in terms of being said, I would have preferred if these speakers and
So there you go. That's a quick, I guess, sample of how the audio sounds like. So overall, it's not bad. It's, again, a little bit quiet and a little bit tinny for our tastes, but it does the trick for a quick presentation if you have some sound clips or sound effects on board. For watching movies and videos, again, we would recommend plugging in your own pair of speakers or headphones. You can see that colors are slightly on the warmer side of the spectrum. They're a little bit washed out and white looking, but again, not too bad if you're just enjoying some quick clips or doing some presentations, and text is definitely legible. So overall, I would say a decent image quality experience, especially for such a small LED projector at this price point. So at the end of the day, the TecBean Mini LED projector is something that I would recommend if you're looking for portability as well as decent performance in a stylish and easy to carry around package. It doesn't offer the best image or video quality in the world, but all in all, it has a nice combination of price point as well as the size, the design. It's going to be okay for doing presentations and a few quick video clips. It has a nice array of ports, from the HDMI port to the USB to the SD card slot to VGA. So for such a small projector, it is fully loaded in terms of the ports. It doesn't have Wi-Fi built in, however, so you do have to use wires if you plan on plugging it into a phone or a tablet or a computer for giving those presentations. So overall, pretty good, I guess, investment if you are someone who constantly travels and needs something portable, or maybe if you're a student in some kind of dorm or a smaller environment and you want a pretty cheap alternative to a larger television, this is something you could consider as well. You can learn more details about the TecBean mini projector and performance data and results in our official written review, but this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.